So guys, we are going to be making a bowl. So the first thing you do when you want to make a bowl, just have your measurements in mind, how wide you want your bowl to be. Okay, whatever wideness you desire for your bowl, that is what you are going to be cutting out. Okay, how big you want it to be, how bold you want it to be. I really don't want too much of a bold. I really don't want it to be too bold because it's for a small child. So that the bowl will not be bigger than the child. So I'm going to take a wideness like so. Okay, I think this wideness is just okay for me, so I'll put that on fold like so. I'm cutting times 2 of what I want. I'll put that on fold because I'm still going to be folding like this again. Okay, I want my bowl to be as wide as 7 inches. So here I have 15 inches, and for the for here I have 7 inches as well. Okay, so I'll bring it up a little bit, 8 inches for seam allowance. Okay, it's your choice, remember it's on fold. So what I have here is times 2 of the wideness of my bowl because I'm going to be folding it over. So I'll keep that aside, then I'll try to make it as straight as possible. It's not straight enough. Okay, so this is what I have, and it's going to be on fold like this. By the time I'm done sewing, I'm going to fold it over again, and I'm going to have something like this. Okay, so to give my bow more strength, that is what I'm going to be folding in. So the next thing I'll do now is to cut out my stay. It's very important you give your bow strength. So I'm going to cut out my stay, and I'll iron my stay to it, and I'll come back to show you guys what I'm going to be doing. Iron stay in my bowl, as you can see. So there's already a stay there. Okay, I use cloth stay, then I use my iron to put a crisp. I folded it into 2 equal half. So the first thing I'm going to be doing now is to sew the top. I'm not going to be sewing these 2 sides. It's looking like a rectangle now, right now. Okay, so I'm only going to be sewing this top part. I'll leave the side. I'm going to bring us to the sewing machine. Let's see that. Okay, so I'm only sewing this upper part, and when I sew this upper part, I'm not going to sew it all the way down. Okay, I'm not going to sew it all through. I'm going to leave at least like 1 or 1.5 inch in the middle. Okay, where I'm going to use to open up my bowl. So I'll sew to the middle. I'll lock my stitch around there. So I'll pick up my presser foot. Okay, then I'll move away from there like so. Can you see? So that's what I'm going to be using to open up, to bring out my bowl to the good side. So I'll continue sewing again. Okay, can you see? So I left a space here in the middle. So now the next thing I'm going to do now, I'm going to now push my bowl like so. I hope you guys are seeing this. So I'll do this. Can you see? I'm bringing this seam to the middle of my bowl. I'm going to use my iron to keep that down. I'll use my iron to iron it so that it can be equal and accurate. Then we'll come back to the sewing part. So guys, I've pressed it now. As you can see, I've already given that a good press. Let me bring the camera closer. So I've pressed it like so. I brought the seam to the middle. So now I can now sew the both sides. Okay. So now that I've sewn the both sides, remember we left a hole here, and that's the hole I'm going to use to bring it out to the right side, to the good side. So just do this carefully and gently. So it's looking all puffy now, but you need to use your iron to keep it down. So I'm going to take it to the ironing board now. I'm going to press it, then I'll come back to show us the next step to do. Okay, so this is what I have now. So this is what I have. So I'm going to take it to the iron. I'm going to press it and make sure to use your scissors to bring out all of these angles. Okay, you don't want it to be folded, you want to bring out the angles out. Good. You want to make sure those your angles are obvious. It's very, very important. So I'm just using my scissors to poke them out. Yeah, if that's the right word. Okay, good. So I'll iron it. I'll give it a good press now, then I'll come back. I'll just press it. We're not going to be needing this hole. Nobody's even going to see it, so you don't need to do anything to that part. So guys, I've pressed it. Right now it's pressed. Can you see it's pressed? Okay, see the seam is at the middle there. So the next thing I'm going to be doing here is to fold it over like so. Like I said, remember I said I cut ×2 of what I wanted. See, if you want your bow to be as wide as this, that means you are going to be cutting ×2 of this, okay, so that you can fold it over to give your, see, if I'm going to just be doing this now, you see it doesn't really have strength. You see, can you see how it's falling backwards? It doesn't have more strength for a standing bowl. Okay, if I wanted my bow to be this wide, I would have cut ×2 of this wideness that I have here, but because I wanted it to be this wide, like here to half of here, so I cut ×2 of that. So that is why I'm going to be folding it over like so. Okay, can you see? So if I'm going to pull this together, you see it's going to have a lot of strength and it's going to stand. That's the idea. So I'll cut a small strip of fabric that I'm going to use to cover that up. Okay, so I'll do that and I'll show us. There's no specific measurement for this, just do your thing, just do your no specific measurement. So I'm also going to be sewing. No, this is too long, so I'll cut it. So then I'll turn it out. So after turning it out, I'm going to give it a good press as well to keep it down. Okay, so I'm also bringing the seam to the middle like so, then I'll press it. So after pressing it, this is what I have. So I'm just going to trim because it's actually too long though. I'm still going to be cutting away from it anyway. So this is what I have for the strip. So this is what I'll do. So after folding my bow over like this, then I'm going to use this one. I'm just going to gather it with my hand. Can you see? Just going to gather it with my hand like so in the middle. Make sure to find the middle, okay? Make sure you know the middle so you don't do it to one side. So I'm going to be using that one to pick it up. So I'll adjust it and make sure it's getting to the middle, okay? So after doing that, I'm going to now be sewing. Okay, I'll do it to the wrong side first. Okay, I'm going to use the wrong side. This is the wrong side so that I can flip it over. So I'll pick this together again. So I'm bringing the wrong side of this tiny strip. I'm facing right side to right side, then I'll sew. This is the wrong side. The right side of the strip is facing the right side of the bow. So I'm going to sew it down now. So I'm just trying to run multiple stitches around there so that it can be well secured. So it's been sewn, so I'm going to cut off that seam allowance there. Okay, I'm just going to cut off that bulk that I have around there. So now I can flip it now. Can you see? So make sure to make it not too tight, so that this rough edge can go on the inside, so that you can have enough space to flip it over. Okay, so I'm just going to do this gently, gently, gently. So if you want to put any more embellishments here, you can put, like I'm going to be doing. I'm just going to add a little stone or embellishment around this one here. Okay, so now you have all the opportunity now to arrange your bowl, okay, to make it come out nice and neat and flawless, guys. So I'm going to just be doing that here. So I'm going to make sure I bring it to the middle. So once I bring it to the middle, I'm going to pick my hand needle, then I'm going to be tacking it together. Okay, so I use my hand needle, I'm going to tack it at the wrong side. So if I'm sure that this strip is at the middle part, I'm going to pick my hand needle and I'm going to tack it. Okay, so the idea is for you to make a bowl that is strong, that is not going to be waving or moving up and down. Okay, that's just the idea. So I'm just going to keep that down a little bit together. So I'm not going to be using my sewing machine, because I'm going to be sewing the bow and that strip together so that it doesn't move anymore. So that's why I'm going to be using my hand needle, so that the seam doesn't come to the front. Okay, so now if I'm happy and I'm okay, I'm going to take my tape measure. I'm going to measure this wideness of my bow. I have like 7 inches here, and I'm going to make sure this stuff is at 3.5 inches in the middle, which looks really perfect now. Okay, this is at the middle of my bowl. Can you see the bowl that we just created? So now I'm going to come to the wrong side. Okay, this is the wrong side, this is the back, okay, where we have the joining. So I'm going to come to the wrong side, so I'm going to now tack it together. Inseam tacking, my tacking is not going to come to the front. Okay, it's not going to be showing anywhere. I'm just going to do it on the inside. So I'm just going to do it like 2-3 times. I'm just picking from the bowl, I'm picking from this tiny strip, but I'm making sure none of the seam is coming towards the outside. Okay, so I'm just trying to secure them both together. Good. Okay, it's secured now, so you can see the beautiful bowl which we just created. Okay, so can you see how beautiful this looks? See, Can you see how beautiful our bowl is looking? Okay, so the next thing that we're going to do is to fix the bowl to the back of our dress, also with the hand needle. Okay, we're also going to be using the hand needle to fix this bowl to the back of our dress. Okay, so if you have any more questions, be free to ask me in the comment section, and I'll be glad to answer every of your questions. Okay, so you can see how stable this is. Okay, this is the idea why you have to cut times 2 of what you want and fold this over. So I'm going to be bringing our dress so we can tack the bowl. I'm just going to be tacking the bowl to the back of our dress. So this is how it's going to stay, guys. So this is what I intend to achieve with the bowl at the back of the dress. So I'm going to be tacking it to one side. Okay, you are not going to tack it in the middle because you will need to be able to open the zip, but I'm going to place it like so in the middle. I hope you guys can see. Let's see if you guys are seeing. So I'm going to be placing the bowl in the middle of the dress like so. Okay, this is what I intend to achieve with this bowl. So I'll place it here in the middle to middle. Then I'm going to make sure I'm sewing on one side, not on the zip, not any side. You can pick any side, it's totally fine, any part. So I'm going to tack it together. So the other thing that you can do, you can get some really tiny pins like this. You can get some tiny pins, or you can use pressing button. Okay, you can get some tiny pins like this because it needs to stay put. Okay, like this on this side. You're just going to, so that's exactly what I'm going to be doing. Actually, I have like these tiny pins. I'm just going to put one here and put another one here so that the mother of the baby or whoever, I don't know what to say, can tack it against this part. So when they are pulling the dress, they're also going to pull it off. So I'll show us that too. So another thing you can also do is to make a hand needle. Okay, I say hand needle, pressing button. You can also put a pressing button. You put a pressing button here and here and here and here. Okay, you can use black. Sometimes, pressing button, I don't know if you have colors, so it depends on the color of the dress that you are sewing sometimes. So you might not be able to find the exact color of pressing button. I think there's also one that is silver, or I don't know, in the market. But that one used to get rusty. That's why I just prefer sometimes to use this safety pin, the tiny ones. You have some very beautiful ones in the market. They are like gold color. Okay, tiny ones. So you can also use that if you don't want to use the pressing button. So if you are working with a black dress, you can find a black pressing button, the plastic one. So guys, this is our beautiful bowl that we just created together. Can you see? Really nice, beautiful. So it's going to be at the back of the dress like so. So the next thing I'll do is to get these 2 pins. I'm going to be getting these 2 pins. I'm going to put it here. Okay, so what I always do is I tell the mother of the child that there's a pin there, but because my bowl is even stiff, so it can even stay like that. But it's also okay, you pin it down here and pin it down here. Okay, because I have a really nice strong bowl, so it can stay, okay, without moving. So but I'm going to be putting some more pins there to pin it together with the bow in the dress, so it can just be more perfect. Good. So you have to bring it down, hide it as much as possible so that it doesn't come out. Can you see the bowl? Nice. So this is the bowl which we just created. So if you have any more questions, feel free to ask me in the comment section. I'll be glad to answer every of your questions. And thank you so much guys for watching, and that brings us to the end of this video.